station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And good evening, and thanks for joining us for DC News Now at 4.
Here's a look at today's top stories all across the DMV.
Developing now, a 19-year-old in police custody after crashing a U-Haul into barriers near the White House. DC News Now spoke to people who saw the whole thing. Hear how they're reacting this afternoon.
Plus, it has been a long road to recovery for Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin, who has battled lymphoma. He spoke with our Leonard N. Fleming about his journey to remission.
Memorial Day is almost here. Millions of Americans are getting ready to travel. Pools are opening up, and shoppers are getting ready for some of the biggest deals of the year. We're covering all things holiday weekend. And thanks for joining us on this Tuesday for DC News Now at 4. I'm Mark Hall.
Yeah, day 2. I'm Annalisa Gale. We'll get to those top stories in just a minute, but here is a look outside right now. Yeah,
it's looking pretty nice. Now let's head over to meteorologist Damon Matson for a first look at the forecast. And Damon, not a bad day.
Yeah, overall, guys, another beautiful one here in the DMV. We've had some sunshine, those warm but comfortable temperatures. Now, the only thing we could possibly complain about is the fact that it is not exactly clear in that sky across the entire area. First off, we have a little bit of cloud cover that is still streaming in from the south and west, mostly northern Virginia, D.C. into southern Maryland, seeing the bulk of any cloud cover that's out there, though it looks almost overcast, full of high, thin clouds across the entire area. Most of that, however, continues to be that haze and wildfire smoke really filtering out that sunshine and this dark gray plume here on the map. You see how we're not the only ones dealing with this. It's the entire mid-Atlantic up into the northeast and folks back across the Great Lakes as well, continuing to see a lot of that haze in the sky. So it's just going to be a common theme with this weather pattern sort of staying locked in place. So we'll deal with that haze, we'll deal with some clouds, but nonetheless, it is going to continue to be a beautiful evening with temperatures steadily falling back into the 60s and upper 50s, especially once the sun goes down. Now, throughout this month of May, we've had days with rainfall. Don't get me wrong, but the overall total for the month of May across most of the area has not even reached an inch of rain. So it's been extremely dry. Are we going to see any rainfall over the next several days? And if we do, is it going to come on the holiday weekend? We'll have another check of that forecast for you here coming up in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Developing now, a 19-year-old Missouri man remains in custody tonight following some frightening moments last night near the White House.
Say Kandula is accused of crashing a U-Haul truck into a barrier in Lafayette Square. It happened around 9:40 p.m. on the north side of near 16th Street there. It led to some tense moments for those who were nearby.
And that's where we also find our Dave Laval. And Dave, what are people in the area saying about last night's incident?
Good afternoon, Mark and Annalisa. And most people we spoke to aren't even aware of what happened as they make their way through the park to get up close to the fence that surrounds the White House. Yet there are still plenty of reminders of what happened here last night. Joel Ramirez and Seth Duran take in the sights while visiting from Texas. That includes remnants of a frightening night in Lafayette Park.
Wow.
Tire marks and oil show where a U-Haul box truck tried to crash through security barriers a block from the White House Monday night.
I think it's like really crazy and really scary how something like that could happen now.
I was standing right about there.
DC's Chris Savoy witnessed the crash. He recorded the incident on his cell phone.
I thought maybe it was a drunk driver and just an accident or something crazy.
United States Park Police and Secret Service believe 19-year-old Say Kandula of Missouri deliberately crashed the truck.
This is where I go my run a lot of times at night, and I never even thought that a truck could have come out of nowhere like that.
There's always something happening in D.C.
England's Andrew Bates could not return to the Club Quarters Hotel. It's one of several near the crash scene that evacuated as a precaution.
You know, I'm used to being shouted at by police in London. It was a different experience having it happen over here. There's no denying this situation could have turned out a lot worse, which is why people we spoke to told us they're glad these barriers worked as designed.
Thankfully, didn't get any closer or anything, or no people were harmed.
Kandula faces several charges in threatening to kill, kidnap, or harm the president, vice president, or member of their families. And as we said earlier, he remains in custody. Live in Lafayette Square, Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Happening today, the D.C. woman facing second-degree murder charges in connection to a triple fatal crash is scheduled to appear in court. The crash happening back in March on Rock Creek Parkway. Police say the driver, Nikita Walker, was behind the wheel of an SUV when she hit another car, killing all three people inside. According to court records, Walker has a history of reckless driving, racking up over $12,000 in speeding tickets in just the last year.
And new tonight, D.C. leaders and organizations discuss how the district is enforcing the law when it comes to dangerous driving. Officials with the district say that 35 pedestrians and bicyclists have been killed on D.C. roads, and they discuss how to enforce the laws and how to hold drivers accountable when it comes to excessive speeding and stop running stop signs. Community leaders say that more needs to be done.
Feel very strongly that our enforcement needs to be rooted firmly in accountability. We need to be focused on behavior, not just unpaid tickets. Enforcement shouldn't be rooted in who can pay.
And D.C. Councilmember Charles Allen says he plans to introduce legislation on traffic safety. And
All right, turning now to updates from your local election headquarters. Harpers Ferry, West Virginia is set to have an election in just 2 weeks. As Stephen Cohen reports, one topic that seems to be top of mind for voters is how to manage a potential increase in tourists.
It is a divisive issue in this charming historic town.
As a National Park Service treasure, Harpers Ferry is a popular spot for tourists.
Truly one of the most historic places in the country. And you know, I travel a lot, and people everywhere I go know Harpers Ferry.
We love the fact it's a historic town, and we love to come here and get on the trails and ride bikes and hike and visit all the great restaurants and shops.
But with the tourists come more traffic and parking problems, bringing growth management to voters' minds. Residents packed a recent voters forum here to learn just where the candidates stand.
This is a very important election coming up for Harpers Ferry. And I know that the Hilltop Hotel is a big issue.
Hilltop Hotel has stood at the summit of the town since 1888. A new $150 million proposed landmark hotel will enhance Harpers Ferry even more as a tourist destination. But during the voters' forum, concerns over how the town hall will handle an increase in tourists was clearly on the mind of mayoral and town council candidates.
Well, I do think that would be a good thing for the town in terms of bringing in tourists and money.
The property overlooks where the Shenandoah and Potomac rivers converge. Many residents see it as a good problem, and they're confident it will all work out.
There'll be a good balance between the management of the hotel and the running of the town.
The election is June 13. Reporting from Harpers Ferry, Stephen Cohen, DC News Now.
Stephen, thank you. Like many members of Congress, Maryland U.S. Representative Jamie Raskin tackles important issues facing the state and the nation.
But he also waged a battle against an aggressive form of cancer. Our political and government reporter Leonard N. Fleming spoke to Raskin in an extensive interview about his traumatic cancer journey.
And clearly, Leonard, this experience was intense for Raskin, but he kept going.
Mark and Annalisa, he certainly did. And the cancer diagnosis came following a family tragedy that would rock even the strongest person. But Raskin says he refused to give in.
Obviously, none of us is immortal and we're not going to live forever. But I feel a much greater sense of kind of breadth and openness about the horizons ahead of me.
Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin told the world in December he had diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, an aggressive form of cancer. The chemotherapy, he reveals, was grueling, losing his hair, eyebrows, and 10 to 12 pounds. Doctors say the cancer is in remission.
The chemo is your best friend as a cancer patient, but it's also your worst enemy because it causes such atrocious side effects. You lose your taste buds, and in my case, everything just tasted like heavy metal.
Did you ever think that, this could be the end, I could die? Did that ever cross your mind?
Obviously, everything crosses your mind. My family's been through a lot of shocks over the last several years. As you were saying, we lost our beloved son, Tommy, on the last day of 2020.
A week later, the January 6th insurrection, one of his daughters was with him that day.
My first reaction was just feeling terrible about putting, my family and my friends and my constituents through yet another, vaguely traumatic thing.
He formed bonds during treatment.
Chemo land has its difficulties and its arduousness, but there's some great things about it. Like, there's no racism over there. You don't get a lot of the petty prejudices and hatreds that seem to operate in our world, unfortunately, today.
Raskin didn't miss one hearing or votes, donning his colorful headscarves. Did he ever think of leaving Congress?
Not for 1 minute, and I'm in the right place, and I feel an obligation to my family and my constituents and my country to see this through.
It's interesting, Leonard. Congressman Raskin really kept up his appearances throughout. Even his ranking member role on the Oversight Committee, that shows commitment and really grinding it out during a tough period.
Yeah, no, there's no question it was. And he also told me about others he knows in Congress who also have serious illnesses, who go in for treatments each and every day. So for him, he saw that as a way of motivation and a push through.
Well, we're happy he's doing well. Thanks so much, Leonard. Well, still to